On the night of February 1st, 1959, in the freezing Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union, something terrifying happened. 9 experienced hikers, young, skilled, and in peak physical condition, abandoned their tent in the middle of the night. They cut their way out from the inside, ran into the deadly cold, barefoot and half naked, and scattered into the darkness. When their bodies were discovered weeks later, what searchers found would send chills through history. Some of the hikers had crushed skulls and broken ribs, yet there were no signs of external wounds. One had her tongue and eyes missing. Traces of radiation were found on their clothing. And strangest of all, the Soviet government immediately classified the case, and to this day, we still don't have a solid answer to what really happened that night. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident, one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries of all time. The expedition begins. It all started as an ambitious adventure. Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student, led 8 other hikers on an expedition to Otorten Mountain. The name Otorten translates to "don't go there" in the local Mansi language. A warning? Maybe. But the group didn't believe in superstitions. They were some of the most experienced hikers in the Soviet Union, and this was just another challenge. But none of them could have imagined that they were walking straight into one of the most terrifying mysteries in modern history. Their journey was documented through diaries and photographs. Everything seemed normal until February 1st. That evening, they set up camp on the side of Kholat Shakal, a name that means dead mountain. No one knows what happened next, but sometime in the middle of the night, terror struck. A tent ripped open from the inside. Weeks later, when the rescue team finally located the hikers' camp, they immediately knew something was wrong. The tent was still standing, but it had been cut open from the inside. It was as if something had scared the group so badly that they slashed through the fabric in a desperate attempt to escape. There were no signs of struggle, no footprints leading into the tent, only footprints leading out. Some of the hikers had even walked out barefoot, into temperatures as low as -30 degrees Celsius, -22 degrees Fahrenheit. It was as if they were running from something they didn't even have time to properly dress for. But the true horror was yet to be discovered. The bodies and their bizarre injuries. Rescuers followed the footprints and found the first 2 bodies under a tall cedar tree, about 1.5 kilometers from the tent. The bodies were half naked, lying in the snow with burnt hands, as if they had tried desperately to warm themselves with fire. Their faces were frozen in expressions of agony and terror. 3 more bodies were found between the tree and the tent. It looked like they had been trying to crawl back but never made it. At this point, it seemed like hypothermia had killed them. But the next discoveries changed everything. Months later, when the snow finally melted, the last 4 bodies were found deep in a ravine, and their injuries were beyond explanation. 1 hiker had a crushed skull. 2 had multiple broken ribs, as if they had been hit by a force stronger than a car crash, yet their skin was untouched. 1 woman, Lyudmila Dubinina, was missing her tongue and both eyes. Even stranger, traces of radiation were found on some of their clothes. What could have done this? Theories. What really happened? Over the years, many theories have surfaced, but none fully explain all the strange details. 1. The avalanche theory. Some experts believe the hikers panicked after hearing the sounds of a small avalanche. In their rush to escape, they froze to death before making it back to the tent. But here's the problem. No signs of an avalanche were found. Their tent was still standing when searchers arrived. Their injuries didn't match what an avalanche would cause. 2. Soviet military experiments. Another theory suggests the group accidentally wandered into a secret Soviet military testing zone. Some of their clothes contained radioactive material. Witnesses reported seeing glowing orange orbs in the sky around the time they disappeared. The strange injuries, broken bones without external wounds, could suggest some kind of weapon was used. Did the Soviet government cover up a classified military experiment gone wrong? 3. Paranormal or UFO encounters. Some believe something not of this world was responsible. The glowing orbs seen by other hikers that night, were they alien crafts? The massive internal injuries, could they have been caused by an unknown energy force? Dubinina's missing tongue and eyes, were they taken for scientific study? There are no official answers, and to this day, many believe the case was covered up. The final mystery. In 1959, the Soviet investigation concluded that an unknown compelling force had caused the deaths. But what kind of